6 months ago, at the age of 58, I started strength training after not having exercised very much for over 20 years. I cannot believe it has been that long. Anyway, I'm going to tell you exactly what this experience has been like for me, including when I experienced the biggest change so far and what that was like. If you don't know me yet, hi, I'm Stacy. In this video, I'm not going to be talking about the steps I actually took to get started with weight training, because I did just do another video about that, and I will link to that one down below this one. And this one, I want to actually get into the details of what these first 6 months have actually been like. I will be sharing quite a few resources in this video, so as always, I will be sure to link to all of those down in the description area for you. So I would say one of the biggest challenges for me in these last 6 months has been figuring out how to get a whole lot more protein into my daily diet. And I learned from Dr. Stacy Sims that this is something that all women over the age of 40 really need to be doing. And if you're postmenopause, you even need to be focusing on it a little bit more. But most of us need to get a whole lot more protein into our diet. And if you're interested in her information, I will be sure to link to her YouTube channel below. She gets into all the details around diet and exercise and everything for women that are perimenopause and postmenopause. And it's fascinating based on new science. Super interesting stuff. So the challenge was mainly around how to get more protein in without increasing my calories a lot, right? And so basically what I did in order to do that is, once I learned what my macros should be approximately, and again, I figured that out mainly using Stacy Sims' formula, which is in her new book called Next Level. Well, it's not that new. It came out like a year ago. She kind of explains how to figure out what your macros should look like. Now, granted, everybody has to adjust them a little bit, but at least it's a good starting point. I do not use this day in and day out, but in the beginning, I did use it for a week or two just to figure some things out. But I used the MyFitnessPal app. If you know your macros that you want to stick to each day, it allows you to put that in there. I think you have to have the paid version for that particular feature, but it allows you to do that. And then of course you can track all your food and you can see how you're doing, in terms of where you're at for your macros for the day. And so I did that for a couple weeks, I think. I had to figure out, and I did this through Stacy Sims' book, but I had to figure out what that calorie count should look like, and the macros both. And it's really important to get that right when you're strength training, because if you're not eating enough, your body cannot build much muscle. Also, you get really tired and really sore. But obviously, if you're eating way too much, then you have a big surplus of calories, and now you put on weight, right? And it's not muscle weight. So that's been the most challenging one for me. I think I've got a good handle on it now, but I just had to kind of figure it out as I went. The other thing is that I needed to figure out my eating schedule. I needed to change it up a little bit from where I was. Like, I learned that I should be eating within a half hour of waking up. I should be eating at least a little something to get me through until I eat breakfast a little later on. I learned that I should be eating a snack with a certain amount of protein and carbs right before I work out each day. And also then right after I work out, within like a half hour to 45 minutes, I should be eating, that's when I have my protein shake. Kind of just made that part of my dinner. And then I eat obviously some other whole foods, right? I eat a 100% plant-based diet. And so I did kind of start leaning in more heavy into some of the higher protein plants than I already did before. And then went a little bit lower on some of the more starchy carbohydrates and things. I still eat them. They're just, a source of energy and all of that, but and obviously nutrients. But I just needed to adjust the ratio a little bit, So anyways, but getting that schedule tightened up helped. So I that was one of the other things I needed to sort of sort out. Oh, and I mentioned the protein shake that I usually have as sort of part of my dinner. If you are looking for a plant-based protein powder, the one I have found that I really like, and I've tried a few, but the one I really like is by Ritual. That's the brand, and it's a pea protein, as I may have mentioned, and Boy, it is delicious. It's not too sweet. It's super creamy, so not gritty or anything like that. I will link to that down below as well, because it is super clean in that it's just the certifications and stuff that it has. Not all protein powders have that, so I would highly recommend, if you're looking for a good one and you haven't tried that one yet, maybe check them out. So I started with a beginner level training program because I had not seriously worked out in over 20 years. I've been an active person, of course, but that's different than actually like working out real hard, isn't it? So I basically found one called Power Happens, which was put together by Dr. Stacy Sims and Haley Babcock from Haley Happens Fitness. And it's an excellent program. It's geared towards women who are perimenopause, postmenopause, and it, right from the ground up. It doesn't matter what your situation is. That program is tailored to work for a whole lot of people. I know it can't work for literally everybody, but I would say for most people who are in a beginner situation, I would recommend checking out that program. So anyways, that was, how I got started. I decided that I was going to go in kind of low and slow, as they say. I was not going to get crazy. I knew that I was out of shape. I knew that I needed to give my tendons and my ligaments a chance to build some strength before I started trying to engage my larger muscle groups with heavy weight. So that's how this particular program was built. And it was a 12-week program. And then, of course, she has programs that build off the back of that too. But it's excellent for somebody who wants to get into strength training and is a beginner. It's a reasonable, I think when I bought it, I feel like it was about $200 or something for 12 weeks, which is way, way cheaper than you're going to pay a personal trainer at the gym. And I did not want to start working out at the gym anyway. I decided to start at home. I think I worked out at home for about 5 months before I went to the gym. And then I found a gym I liked, and I love going there. I go there 3 days a week, and I do my cardio workouts at home most of the time. So finding a great program and that I could stick to, and that was built by a really qualified, certified trainer and everything, was important to me. And I'm so glad I did that. So of course, one thing I had to navigate a little bit was sore muscles, and I was prepared for the worst when I started. And to be honest, yes, of course I have had sore muscles. I get sore muscles from time to time, but it really is quite minimal. And when I do get them, I have a way that, that I deal with that. And I think the reason it's minimal is, number one, I think I've been practical about how quickly I have tried to progress. Like every time I work out from the beginning, I want to make sure I hit effort. I'm definitely giving effort. It's not easy, right? It's not just a walk in the park, but I'm not overdoing it at the same time. I'm listening to my body the whole time through the entire session. And so I think that's helped. But also, granted, there have been times that I have been quite sore, and there's a few things I do. Obviously, a hot shower, helps tremendously. So I definitely do that. I also have a fairly large infrared heating pad. Those are incredible because they really get deep. The heat goes deep down into your muscles. Unlike the regular old style heating pads, where pretty much it's just heating up your skin and not going very deep underneath. So the infrared heating pad has been a lifesaver for me. Also, I do sleep on a grounding mattress cover, and it's made by a company called Earthing. I won't get into what that is and how it works, but let me just say it's fantastic, and it really it helps tremendously with helping to knock back inflammation in the body, and also just with circulation, improve circulation and sleep. Frankly, it helps with that as well. They're incredible. Once you sleep on one, you just don't even, you're like, I'm not ever having this again. I will have one of these forever. And so I'll link to that below so you can check it out. And if you have any questions, you can let me know. So that's kind of what I do when I do get sore. That's how I deal with it. But the one interesting thing I learned through Dr. Stacy Sims' work is that one of the ways to help resolve soreness, or basically keep from getting so sore, is to be eating enough, to be fueling your body properly before and after a workout. And apparently that has a lot to do with the level of soreness that you'll experience. So if somebody's after their workouts, they're just exhausted and they're really super sore, that's apparently usually a pretty good indication that they might not be eating enough, or at least not eating the right types of things before and after their workout at the very least. So that was very interesting to me. And so I think I've been real careful about that. I think maybe that's helped me a lot too. So in terms of losing weight from where I started now 7 months ago, but I wanted to lose 15 pounds. It turns out that I've lost about, I'd say on average, about a half a pound per week. So that's about 2 pounds per month. So that's slow, right? That's pretty slow, but I'm okay. I was okay with that. I'm still not down the full 15 pounds. I think I'm down about 10 pounds, but I've gained a lot of muscle. What matters the most to me is that I'm getting stronger, and yes, losing a little fat here and there too, until I get to, down to where I want to be. So that's where I am with that. The thing I think that has kept me motivated and helped keep me motivated anyway throughout all this time is that I am really constantly focusing on the small wins, like I'm always kind of paying attention to how I feel. And I definitely feel, I feel better than when I did when I didn't work out. Granted, I didn't feel terrible then either, luckily, but I do feel better. I feel just stronger overall in terms of my whole body. I feel when I'm just doing regular day-to-day things, which is so cool. And I definitely have more confidence in my ability to do harder physical things, which is, I was always that way. Like when I was younger, I always that way. And so somewhere along the way that started to like fade away a little bit. I guess it's, we know subconsciously that our body is like, we're not as strong or we're not as agile or we're not as fast or whatever, even if we don't really think about it. But then, when I started getting into all of this, it was just like you face that stuff, right? And so then you're like, well, I'm going to work with what I have where I'm at, and then consistently you increase your strength and your endurance, frankly, for just day-to-day stuff. Yard work, for instance, is a good example, or just running around doing all kinds of stuff in a day, errands and everything. Don't get tired as easily, and your body's just more durable. I don't know if durable is the right word, but it is. And it's so all of that, when you're dialing in and you're tuning into that stuff and you just recognize those little wins all the time, it is such a motivator to stick with it. It really truly is. Okay, well, I'm going to get into what the biggest change is I've seen so far and how that all came together. But before I do that, if you've been enjoying this video, I'd be super grateful if you give it a like. And if you want to see more content about holistic self-care for women over 50, be sure to subscribe because I'm going to be sending out a whole lot more great content. All right? Okay, let's get into this. So the biggest change I have seen thus far, besides obviously just feeling better, which honestly at the end of the day is the most important one, right? But I say this is the biggest because to me it just was maybe the most shocking, I guess. So it wasn't until literally about the 6-month mark, maybe the beginning of the 6th month, I noticed the body composition changes. Now I have been, as we all do, looking in the mirror pretty much every day, just to, if nothing else, make sure I put myself together the right way before I leave the house. I wasn't seeing much, to be honest. Except for the first thing I did see, and maybe this was around the 4-month mark, because I was doing, lots of full body workouts between the cardio, 3 days a week strength training, 2 days a week cardio. And one day was HIIT cardio, the next day was sit cardio. But anyways, about that 4th month, I was seeing like, I could see my butt looked way better than it had in like decades. Honest to goodness. I was like, my ass looks good. I've got that high and tight booty once again. Like, what's going on? I'll take it, So anyway, that did happen, but it wasn't until around the 6-month mark that I looked in the mirror one day. I swear it came out of nowhere. It was just kind of weird. And I think I was wearing my little, like a crop workout top or something. And I don't know, it caught my eye in the mirror, and I noticed that the first thing I noticed for the body comp changes was my core. Though, I have the little belly, right? The little minnow belly, which has gone down a bit with losing a little bit of weight, but it's still there, but I'm certainly not ripped through my core, my stomach muscles by any chance yet. yet. I'm working on it. But I could see a little bit of like on the side of, like a little bit of a, a little bit of a curve inward that wasn't there before. And I thought, okay, so that's something. And because I've been doing a lot of core workout with all this other stuff, right? And so that was incredibly motivating, as you can imagine. Here I have been going at it for 6 months. I didn't see anything. Well, 4 months in, I saw my butt. I thought I was happy with that. But since, other than that, that was it. I've got a long way to go to get to where I want to be. But I am super excited and motivated by the fact that it's working, right? Like I can see that it's working. So I'll just keep at it. And I still do want to lose like 5 pounds or so. I'm not like really married to the 5 pounds, but to me, it's more important. It's less important what the scale says at this point, and it's more important to just look at what I see in the mirror in terms of the body composition changes, and also to measure, right? That is the truth teller right there, right? If you're losing inches, that's what you really want to know, because again, if you're losing fat but you're gaining muscle, you're not going to see super drastic drops, or at least most people are not, from what I understand. And certainly I have not. And so that's, so the measuring of it, of your body, is really the thing that is helpful. In fact, I thought I'd pop this little slide in here just to show you where I'm at with my measurements 6 months in. So you're going to have to excuse my super cute outfit. I did not think that one through. I did not plan on using those photos in a video. Anyways, you can see here that I'm down in all the areas that you would typically measure a little bit, and my clothes are fitting differently and all of that, which is nice. So it's making a difference. So that's basically where I'm at with it all, 7 months in now. And, I'm just so happy I made the decision to do it. And I did not allow myself to stay intimidated to the point that I just wouldn't do anything to get started. Now it's become part of my routine. I look forward to it. If a couple days go by and I don't work out, I feel not my best. As soon as I work out, I feel so much better. So your body does get addicted to that sort of thing, and which then makes it, of course, a lot easier. Not always easy, but it makes it a lot easier to stick with it, right? And to stay on schedule and stick with your routines. If it's something you've been thinking about doing and haven't yet started, I would say find a good program. Again, I will link to Haley's information below because she has several good programs, but there's a lot of them out there. Find yourself a good program. Start slow and easy, and give yourself a whole lot of time, a whole lot of months to start to really see the biggest changes, although you will start to feel better pretty quickly. I started to feel better within days of starting to work out. So anyways, you can do this if that's something you want to do. Don't get intimidated. Be patient. I know it's hard. God, I know it's hard. It's so hard for me sometimes, but I think I'm getting better with my age. I don't know. I mean, I'm so trying. But anyways, be patient with yourself. Have a beginner's mindset. Just believe in yourself. You can do it. You can do it. If you've enjoyed this video, I think you will probably really enjoy this one too if you've not seen it yet, and that is the one about how I actually, the steps I took to get started with working out, just to get myself set up and ready to go. Anyways, thanks so much for joining me in this video, and I will see you in the next one.